In this lecture, we are going to make sure that we can save a picture or associate a picture with a note. But first, I want to point out that make sure that your photo property inside the note is data and not date. I think I misspelled it and I wrote it date instead of data. So make sure that you do that. All right, change it to data. Okay, and there are multiple ways that a person can add a, a picture or attach a picture to the note. They can select it from their camera or they can just take a picture. Okay? All right, so let's see how we can do that. So where should we put all this stuff? Because what I really want to do is I want to probably create like an etched stack or something. So I can go over here and I can create an etched stack. And inside this etched stack, we can have some sort of spacing also. All right. And we can add like different buttons. We can add like a photo library button. So PhotosPicker, right? So PhotosPicker is already available. We can simply say PhotosPicker. We need to make sure that we are importing Photos UI. So let's go on the top and import Photos UI first so that we will have access to the photo picker. There we go. Now it comes up. You can see Photos Picker. Now, as you can see, Photos Picker does have a lot of different functions that you can actually call. All right. Selection, matching, all of these different things, preferred item encoding, photo library, all of these things are there. What we're going to do is we're just going to try to fill out these things. So selection, whenever we select something, like we select a photo from a photo library, it's going to go into this particular variable, which is of type binding PhotosPicker item. So this means that we need to create that PhotosPicker item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here in the view and create a property called selected photo item, which is of type PhotosPicker item. All right, so now we can actually use this property. So if we go back, we can just substitute this over here. We can say selected something, right? So it will be selected photos item. Then we have, I think I'm going to use like a different one because this kind of looks weird. So I'm going to use the one where I can pass in matching images. So we're only adding images or allowing the user to select images, not really videos. Photo library, the shared one is fine. I mean, we can just use shared. And now we can actually implement the UI for it. So this is kind of like completely up to you, whatever UI you want to display. I'm just going to add some C stack with a circle in it, and it looks like this. All right. And if I click on it, you can see that it kind of opens up this photo library. The other thing that we can do over here, probably I can add it to the edge stack, is we can say button style borderless. So this means that whenever we tap on it, it doesn't really highlight the cell. You can see now we can only tap on it. All right. So that's pretty cool that we can do that. And I can also see some pictures over here, which is kind of cool. I can select the picture. Now, when you select the picture, this selected photo item gets changed because this is a binding property. So what we want to do is whenever this particular property changes, we want to take an action. Okay. So now the question becomes, well, what kind of action do we want to take? And how do we attach that? Like, should we use onChange? Should we use task modifier? What I'm going to do is, since we want to perform an async action, I'm going to use a task modifier and use the ID property of the task modifier. This is the dependency. And we're going to set the dependency to the selected photo item. This means that whenever the selected photo item changes, this task modifier is going to get called. Over here inside this, we can go ahead and unwrap it, because selected photo item itself is nullable, so we're just going to unwrap this. Now, one thing we'll find out is selected photo items dot load transferable. So load transferable over here, this is going to give us access to the actual data. All right. And let's see. So this is the async one. So we're going to use the async one over here. The type that we're looking for is data.self, meaning it's going to get the data. Again, it's probably going to be optional, nullable. So that's why we're using if let. And since this part is also async, we're going to use await on it. All right. And apart from that, we can also go ahead and wrap it with do catch so that we can catch an exception. If the exception actually happens, we can catch that. So once we get the data, we can convert it to image. All right. So how do we convert it to image? We can use UI image and we can simply pass in the data. But what should we do with that? I mean, this is going to return us something, right? So what we can do is we can simply assign it to probably a property of the state variable for UI image. So if I go on the top, I can create another property over here and I can call it UI image. And this, we can simply assign it UI image like this. All right. Now, eventually, we will want the data part of it also. Like right now, this is just UI image. We can also say image data. So another property we can actually create that can help us is to collect the image data, because in the end, you will be saving the image data in the database. So I also add the image data. And image data will be simply image data equals to data. So this is going to allow us to handle it again in the future. Like when we need the image data, we can actually do that. Now, whenever we select image data or whenever we change UI image, well, I guess it really depends like where you're setting it up. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, that how you can also set different things to it. But right now what we're doing is we're assigning the UI image, we're assigning the data. We also would like to display this. Like it would be nice if we can display the image that you have actually selected, right? I mean, that will be a really nice thing to do. The question is, where should we display that? Should we display it above everything, below everything? So that's kind of like up to you. So if I go over here, I can probably check over here. I can say UI image. And if UI image itself is nullable or optional, we can unwrap this. And the good thing is that the image view, which is part of SwiftUI, already contains an initializer that takes in the UI image. So that's kind of like very handy because we can now do that. Apart from that, if you want to change the styling on the image, you can go ahead and resize it. So I'm just going to go ahead and resize it over here. As you can see, that's perfectly fine. And this is kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. Let's go ahead and select an image. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the photo library. I'm going to select the image and you can see that the image is being displayed. Now, this particular images are currently not really saved in the database. So let's keep that in mind. We're just displaying these things. They're not really persisted anywhere. But what if we wanted to persist this, right? What if we wanted to save all of this information in the database? If you look at the save note, you will find out that over here we created the note, we added the note to the mygardenvegetable.nodes array, and we simply saved the context, right? Now, we never really assigned note.photo. And we can actually do that. We can go ahead and save or use the image data that we assigned right over here. That will be data, and we will assign it to the node itself. So this is hopefully going to associate the particular selection that we have just done from a photo library to assign it to the photo. All right. And then we can save the note. Let me go back to the home screen over here, which is the vegetable tab bar screen. Now, even if we save information right now, it's not really displaying. Well, we're not really displaying, I guess, the notes. Let's go over here. You can see I have a couple of different items over here. For my garden, I can go to carrot, and none of these actually have a note. Oh, there we go. This one has a note, but I guess we can always go to carrot and add a new note. So if I select over here, there we go, and I can select something, some sort of an image, and then save it. Okay. And once you save it, this modal should just go away. So that's one thing that we're missing right now. And the other thing is that when we save it, it would be nice if we can display the information. All right. So let's just go ahead and first work on how can we display, how can we make sure that when you save it, so over here we're saving, we can dismiss it. There we go. So we can actually just go ahead and add it over here so that we can dismiss it. All right, perfectly fine over here. Okay, so we're off to a good start. Now keep in mind that right now we are using the, where is it? The PhotosPicker. Here it is, PhotosPicker. And PhotosPicker is part of the Photos UI. And whenever you're using PhotosPicker or camera, it's always a good idea to also check it on the simulator and obviously on the real device. But let's go ahead and run this because we may encounter some permission issues. All right, because whenever you're trying to select a photo from a camera or trying to take a picture or accessing the camera, you need to get the permission from the user that you're allowed to do those things. So let's go ahead and also run it on the simulator. You can see it's running on the simulator right now. And we're going to keep our eyes on the output window that if it causes any issues when we are trying to, load the picture or select the picture from a photo library. Always a good idea. All right. So right now we're just waiting for this to run. I know that for the first time when it runs, it's kind of slow. Let's go to my garden. So since we are using the real database, currently I don't really see anything in my garden. Let me go to carrot. I'll add something. Oh, so now, however, this particular feature is not working. All right. So let's see what's going on. Probably we're missing something that we are doing over here. That all looks fine. It's interesting. We will probably have to see what exactly is going on. All right. So let me debug this, that why we are not able to see the My Garden screen, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I had to reinstall the app again, but it might be because we made some changes to the schema, so maybe that was the reason. So now let's go to the My Garden. I can see the carrot. That's good. There are no nodes associated with carrot. That is fine for now. Let's see that what happens when we try to add a node to the carrot and we try to select a picture or a photo from a photo library. Okay, so it's opening up. It doesn't really give us any message, so that's always good. I'm going to select a picture over here. Okay, we can definitely see it. Yeah, you can see some breaking constraints over there. Let's go ahead and save it. Okay, relationship, blah, blah, blah. It's still not really displaying the picture, but that's mostly because that we haven't really done that part. All right, so let's go to note list screen. And in the note list screen, what I would do is I would see that how can we display the picture, all right? Display the actual image that we are supposed to be getting, all right? So let's see over here in our node list screen. Right now we're just using node.title, right? I mean, that's all we're displaying right now. So what I want to do is I want to put all of this inside a edge stack. We'll change it a little bit later. I just want to see that if we can display the picture or not, but that's pretty much it. All right. So the node that we are getting, node, has a photo property. But this particular photo property is simply data. And what we want is to probably convert it into, into an image and all of that stuff. So I'm going to use if, just for now, photo data equals to node.photo. And again, we can say let UI image equals to UI image. In this case, we can actually pass in the data. So if you do have the data, go ahead and pass in the photo data. And if that also works, at that point, then we can go ahead and use the image passing in the UI image. All right, this will be a quick way to display it, and eventually we'll have to refactor all of this stuff, but at least it will be able to show us a little bit of information that, well, it is able to show the information or not. And I'm going to just add some styles to it, but we'll change it, all of that stuff. All right. Okay. So this means that if node does have a photo and it's not null, then go ahead and basically display the image. Let me go ahead and run this. Okay. And I'll go to my garden, I'll go to carrot, and there we go. Yeah, there we go. We got the image. See that? Now that's pretty cool that we can get the image. Very nice. Let me go ahead and add another node. I'm going to say whatever, it doesn't really matter, whatever the description of the node is. And I'm going to select something, some image, and then save it. And I got the image over here. So these are our nodes that we are selecting. All right. So this is pretty cool that we are able to do that. Great. So what else we want to do? Well, right now the person is simply selecting the photo from a photo picker. What we also want to do is allow the user to take a photo. So in the next lecture, we'll be looking into, well, how can a user take a photo from their camera? All right. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video and want to support my channel, then the best way would be to check out azamsharp.school. Azamsharp.school is one of the largest collection of iOS development videos. I have courses on everything that you can imagine for iOS development. This includes Skip, AI for iOS developer, full stack e-commerce app development using SwiftUI Node, Postgres, SwiftUI architecture, Supabase, Firebase, Firestore, core data, full stack iOS development using Vapor. Oh, it's just so much courses, so much to learn, right? Test-driven development, MapKit, Reality Kit, machine learning, so many courses. And I also host workshops. Now these workshops are 3.5 hour long, and they are very, very hands-on. The next workshop coming up is on February 7th, but you can always look at the workshop pages and enroll for these workshops. You can enroll for these things by purchasing individual courses, or you can also become a monthly or annual member and you get access to the workshop for free. This is a pretty awesome deal. So hopefully you have enjoyed it, and thank you so much, and make sure to share the video, and I will see you as an Azam Sharp member. Thank you.